Okay, so what to do when there's no requirements? Uncle Bob. Hello, I'm Chris Athanas. I'm a KMP developer. Tech support said they're coming out Tuesday. I really believe him this time. Y'all, I do. I believe him. We're going to be watching this video, responding to it. I haven't watched this all the way through yet. It's an older one with Uncle Bob, which I have mixed feelings about. Some stuff he says is good. Other stuff is like, this feels like a sales. This feels like a sales call. You're trying to sell me with some gish scalping and hypnotic induction techniques using confusion, stuff like that. All right, let's see what he has to say.
Part of working in short cycles is the idea that we don't wait for definition. This is a trap that software teams get caught in all the time.
Okay, I think what he's talking about is the exact definition of every single tiny little thing. Now we're going to need a definition of what we're trying to accomplish and maybe some guidelines. If you have UI toolkits, if you're doing the UI side or in the back end, we're going to talk about what things to be saved, where, how, the process we go through, all the events and stuff. Yeah, we don't necessarily know that ahead of time, so we kind of have to do that in little pieces. So yeah, they used to have this black and white thing. It's like we have to do it all ahead of time. It's like you're not gonna get that, and people are gonna stall. They're gonna when you give them the thing that they told them, they're not gonna say they want it. It's gonna take too long. So you have to like do little spurts, do little increments. And I know people don't want to hear that. They want to know how long it's gonna take and how long this process gets. Like I don't know. How long does it take to get till somebody like says yes? It's like choosing color combinations for a new kitchen. It's like you don't really know until you kind of see it. There we go.
They believe they can't start working because they don't have definition. They don't have requirements. They don't have the process. They don't have something defined. Maybe there's a team out.
The back end is not ready. Yeah, see, this is a conversation that should not be taking place because they should both be talking about what needs to happen to implement this stuff. And if they don't know, how do we get the customer in the room? If you don't know how to get the customer in the room, you're kind of in a bad spot, man. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, if you can't get the customer to decide on what to do, I think you're going to find a different field of work. I don't know. That's going to be most of what the job's going to be from here on out. Is like extracting these. What do you want? Like, how should you? Like, I know you want this thing done, right? I know you have a problem that you want solved. But you want like this, you want like this. What about this? And they go, well, I don't know. And you have to go like, okay, you have to show them one, and show them two, and maybe show them two alternatives of the sketch. Like, what happens if we did it like this, or we did it like this, or we did it like this? It's like, I don't know. It's like, well, maybe the third one. Well, which one's to be better of all these three that you think? It's like, maybe that one. It's like, you have to give them the examples because that's the job.
That's building a component, and they haven't told you what the API is yet, so you think you cannot start because
that person should be involved with defining it. What? I haven't told them what the API is yet. Yeah. If that Code Monkey style, which this was really popular back then, doing this division of labor, and the architect's going to take over that job. He's designed the API. So, well, these people that you have as a programmer, they could design stuff too. They know how stuff works. I know you don't want to get those involved. They don't have experience. It's like, well, they live in the world. You hired them because they obviously have some reasoning about the problem space. They're users, or can listen to customers and are good at something. So maybe they should be put in the loop. No, we keep them outside the loop. There's architect-only decisions. It's like
they haven't defined the API. That's balderdash. You start anyway. Define it for them if you have to. Right? If you don't have the
I mean, someone's fallen down because this is a conversation that should not be happening. We should be talking about these things, not when is that thing going to be finished? Johnson, when's that report going to be done? It's not that kind of thing. It's kind of like Johnson needs to get together with the report maker, or the report reader, and what kind of reports are we making? Who for who? Why?
Requirements, build something. It is far better to do.
Well, no, you need to get people involved. Before this happens, you should have some sort of reasoning about what the problem is that we're trying to solve, and a methodology about how to approach we're going to take to solve it.
Something
can't jump ahead of that. I've been in companies, they try to jump ahead of that. So, well, we want this thing at the end. It's like, okay, so who's it for? Well, we're not quite sure. Like, what do you mean I don't know how you don't know who it's for yet? You have to have somebody in mind that you're building a solution to their problem for. Well, it's going to be a generic new platform for, like, it's like, man, you're already off the rails. Like, this stuff should come out of all these discussions. Not like API isn't ready. It's like, these should be the discussion of the API. What are we doing? Who's it for?
Thing than to do nothing. The sin of omission is very expensive in our industry because you are collecting your salary anyway.
It's all, well, the big part of the job is omitting stuff. What not to include versus what to include. A lot is this curation of being in the world and going through business stuff and creating solutions for people that stuff works, doesn't work. Let's keep going.
And so it is better to be doing something. If your customer cannot define the
I guess DevTools did make some. He is using Kotlin, so he's got the Kotlin script here. KT. So yeah, he's doing something with Kotlin here. I don't know if he's doing. It looks like desktop apps.
requirements and just can't seem to get them done, then you define them. Work with them. Work to get the definition done. Don't be blocked by a
right. But oftentimes we are blocked because these people who have hired us on, they want to be in charge of that, because if they let us get in charge to get involved with that, then what's the value out of this person who used to maybe been a coder or whatever, has moved up from product manager? They got to get in the middle. They have to have instead of the sharing responsibility and building it together, it's this old corporate style of, oh no, I'm the gatekeeper. What would you say you do here?
a lack of definition.
I give the requirements to the programmers. Well, so you're basically, can't the customers just give the programmers the requirements directly? You don't understand. I'm a people person.
Never be afraid that you are building something you'll have to throw away.
Oh yeah, we're gonna throw it all away. Okay, maybe you're saying something good here, Uncle Bob. Yes, we should build stuff to be thrown away. This is software. It's not invest-aware. It's software. It's meant to be thrown away. It has its time in the sun and then it goes away. It's not killed, destroyed. It's just abandoned temporarily until someone in the future goes, oh my gosh, look at this code base. We should run it.
You will have to throw it away. That's okay. You will have learned a tremendous amount.
Right. I wish this was a common thing, but the Harvard MBA's got in there like, you have $2 million in that code base. You can't throw it away. That's a capital good. It's like, no, it's not, man. It's just a way, our attempt of doing that thing that we want to do at the time with the best information that we were given until we knew about the Johnson account, right? With what we were trying to do. And we should really stop it. And this is part of the knowledge work, because if we don't do this thing where we break off from the old one and start something new, somebody else will. I know it's crazy, but so all the software that we see right now, its time is limited, and they all know it. And it's surprising that they haven't updated these things. Like Facebook has not updated their application in years. There's bugs in there have been there forever. The user experience is terrible. And they don't care. And they're like, we're gonna make a metaverse. We're gonna skip right over this whole posted message meme thing. Go right to card playing as a cartoon character in the metaverse with the Zuck. Okay, here we keep going. Let's go.
Then when you do it the second time, it will go much, much faster and much, much better.
I mean, that's the idea. If you don't try and change too much things or increase the scope beyond craziness. I worked at a company and they were doing for certain medical procedure. It was before the Rona stuff. And they had for a certain illness, I'm not going to say which company it is. And they were doing it for this certain illness, was it's number 2 illness in the country. You can figure it out from there. And they did the version 1. It went great. They got everybody had 5,000 users. Everyone loved it. They did all the features. They lowered the symptoms, and people were getting better. They were getting, everything, all that stuff. They're like, okay, now we're gonna scale it up for all disease. I'm like, all disease? Well, can't we just focus it on something? Like, no. To keep our funding, we must do all disease. Well, he went from $100 million a year company to try and do $100 billion a year company, and you're going to try and do it with the same set of people. How long you want to do this? You're going to do this in 2 years, a year and a half? It was like they were so stuck. They were trying to do every single case of every single disease as a general thing. It's like, no, man, no. We should have just kept being diabetes. They probably would still be in business and still actually creating solutions, but they did the classic thing. We're going to do everything in version 2. It'll have it all. We will disrupt all companies. I was like, no, you're going to fail. We're going to fall down.
The way to make sure you waste time is to do nothing, to wait. Then you are truly wasting time.
Yes, but people are preserving their positions in the hierarchy. Uncle Bob. So if you're working at a company that's a necessary thing. People have higher, their jobs. They have seniority, and what they say goes. And if they don't know what it is or don't know how to get to it, which a lot of them don't, and they don't have it, they're frozen. They're about to go out of business. They're scared to death of making the wrong decision, so they freeze up and they don't want to involve you because you're a peon. You're just a coder. And they have no idea how to actually extract requirements from the customers because that's sales. Somebody else does that. We hire people for that. Okay.
But if you act, even if you throw your actions away, you have built neurons in your brain that will work better from then on.
I mean, tacit knowledge in the group from building things is super great. That's useful, but it is also seems wasteful. But when you're doing knowledge work, you're doing rough drafts after rough drafts after rough drafts until you finally find something that completely fits your customers' needs, and you're willing to listen to them and keep updating it and keep changing it so you can stave off competition.
Do not wait for definition. And if you are in the state of not having,
if you're lucky, if you're an organization that allows you the agency to go do that. I mean, I've been at lots of companies and I've been the thing to do. That's what was the thing to do. I've been at other companies and it wasn't the thing to do. You do that, you're gonna get fired.
Enough definition. Abstract away volatility. Separate those things that are liable to change from those things that are not liable.
How do you do that, Uncle Bob? That's very different. That's years of experience of screwing it up. There's no way to know ahead of time which things are likely to change and not likely. I mean, you can guess, but there's no way to get that right, and you're usually going to be wrong anyway. So maybe just follow Alan Kay and Igor Buyenko's style of development where everything's basically these cellular structures, and don't do shortcuts for performance. We're going to go right to the data because it's more performant. Yeah, you have to go through all the layers and stuff, and it's not as performant, but it makes it so it's modifiable, extendable, changeable, understandable, debuggable, monitorable. Let's keep going.
Able to change. Work on the things that you know aren't going to change, and build abstraction layers, interfaces, and component interfaces, and socket interfaces, and whatever you want.
Yes, of course. Yes, we're trying to do plug and play thing, but he's also just being super generic with his tropey kind of. I don't know. There's something when Uncle Bob starts going off like this. I don't know. It just kind of puts me off.
Oh, to abstract the volatility away. Keep the.
Well, no. I mean, you're just decoupling. You're not abstracting the volatility away. You're decoupling so you don't have to change your core every time you change the implementation at the edge. You're not getting rid of the volatility. You're just managing it. Like some of the stuff he talks is like he's trying to be poetic or maybe imitating Captain Kirk or something because he's like, how about he's like very generic and very like emotional language too. Let's keep
the
going.
Things that change at a distance from you. Build the things that you know aren't going to change. And then once
at a distance from me, what does that even mean? You mean from the core? When you say you mean the core? See, some of these terms, he's like, I'm going to wax poetic, and you little peon programmers are going to have to listen.
You have that nice interface, that abstract interface, you can create all the volatile stuff you want, but the core.
Okay, when you can plug different implementations into the abstract, the interface, because so you can make different appliances that plug into a plug. Once you define what the plug is going to be, yes, we are aware how this works. It's pretty groundbreaking. Uncle okay, Bob. See, this was a big deal because he was still like in a C programmer, and when the interfaces in C++ idiom started to come along, it was groundbreaking because before that it was real pain in the dick to do that. It was just like a standardized way of making plugins, the architecture, and allows Alan Kay types of relationships. Okay, let's keep going.
Stuff won't change. Remember the open-close principle. The open-close principle is all about abstracting away volatility, separating the things that change from the things that don't, and allowing you to extend the nice stuff that's stable with all the volatile stuff later.
Well, I mean, I don't know. The way he talks about it is really odd. I mean, I know what he's saying, but the way he says it's just obtuse. I don't know. And maybe it's just a stylistic thing. I don't know. But he just says, I don't know. It's so sales driven. Man, the lighting here is odd. I gotta fix my lighting. All right, give me a like and subscribe. I'll leave the link in the deedly do to my course. So I go into some detail about what I was just talking about. All right. And it's free.